Hey guys, so I just wanted to do a comparison here between the camera performance on the XZ Premium and the Galaxy S8. I know I did a comparison with the XZS, which is like the same kind of phone in terms of the camera, 19 megapixel with 1 gigabyte of DRAM for the super slow motion technology. But I wanted to see how the best of Sony did compare here. So we have made some, daytime shots, and you can see the results here on, some of these pictures. And I've got to say, it's a very similar story, I'd say, to the XES. In terms of the good light, the actual performance is very comparable. Maybe Sony is focusing more on the, realistic kind of shots, whereas on the Samsung you get more of a vibrant kind of shot. I think Samsung's handling the HDR a little bit better here. This is actually a HDR shot, and you can see things are a little bit brighter overall. But in terms of the daytime shooting, it's very open to interpretation what you prefer from your shots really. So I think it's a very comparable performance. Obviously, the main difference usually is in terms of the low light or the indoors kind of shots. I think it's quite a similar story here as the XCS. You got a very good performance overall with the 19 megapixel sensor, considering it doesn't have optical image stabilization. I think it has slightly bigger pixels than the old XZ, so you're going to get very decent performance, but you can't quite match, I don't think, the quality that you're going to get with the Samsung HTC and LG arrangements here. So overall, if you're looking at it from a rational perspective, I think Sony definitely has some work to do, I think, to keep up with Samsung in terms of the lower light scenario. But last time when I did this video, some people were saying they preferred the Sony shots in terms of low light. So I guess, again, it's open to interpretation, but in my own opinion, I think that Sony could do better, considering they're using the most up-to-date sensor. I think the sensor in the S8 is the 300 series actually, not the 200 series like I said before, but you can see that combination of optical image stabilization and software processing makes for much brighter here and livelier images when you zoom in. And that's the main thing that I notice really. So it's a good shooter here on the Sony, but it's not living up to its full potential, if you ask me, compared to what it could be. So that's just basically what I have found here. In terms of the selfie shooter, it's I think 13 megapixel, and it'll get the job done. But I do think that the Samsung's is a little bit brighter here. You can see with this random shot, it's giving you a little bit more detail from the picture of what it is, whereas it's a little bit dark here on the Sony. So it's very. I sound like a broken record. Every year I say the same thing, that Sony's not living up to its potential when it could do. But I think most people will be happy with it overall, particularly in terms of the daylight shooting. The super slow motion feature I have already checked out. It's pretty cool feature here. I don't think many people are going to use it day to day unless you are using it for sports events, etc., because as I said, you don't have the full quality like the 4K resolution, which is a bit of a shame. But in terms of the just normal kind of video shooting, I have found that it's up there with the best pretty much. I think they could work on the zooming a little bit more to make it a little bit smoother, but I think that ties in again with the lack of optical image stabilization. So yeah, quite a similar story here to before with the XZ Premium, but I did want to give it a dedicated video, for those who think of buying it. I still would recommend it as a phone. It's still fantastic, and it still comes in a lot cheaper than your iPhone or your S8 Plus, etc. But I think for the next one, the XC1 or whatever they're talking about, they definitely need to look at putting optical image stabilization in, as well as working on the software processing. Maybe get DxOMark or whoever to come down and help them to sort it out, like OnePlus. So yeah, just a quick little video here. Hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.